So for those of you that don't know, I have a friend named Isaiah, and he was on my podcast, episode 16. Go check it out. Favorite TV shows, and it's an adult, I believe, is the title of the episode. And we basically talked about all our favorite TV shows. And I take what Isaiah has to say very seriously when it comes to TV shows, because me and him have like a pretty similar taste when it comes to shows. And he's someone who kind of like has a real diverse taste, which I like. It's not just like I really like serious dramas from the 1930s, right? He's all over the place. He kind of likes a little bit of everything, and so I'm with it. And he put up on his Twitter account the show called Gentefied, and he basically said it's real underrated. And he was talking about this even a couple years ago. He was saying you should watch it, and I just kind of like threw it in the back of my mind, didn't really think about it, and then I saw the tweet again. He said season 2 is better than season 1, arguably, and I was like, okay, let me check this out. And I'm watching the show, and I am just wowed. I'm really wowed. I'm just like, this is a really good piece of television, and not enough people are talking about this. I was real impressed. I was like, wow, like this is awesome. The characters, the the fact that it's about, a community that you don't really think about. It's got this whole theme of gentrification and all these themes of like wokeness and diversity and all of this stuff, but it's not shoved down your throat. It's not. And I love that about this show. I love the fact, yes, it's called Gentefied, which is like a play on gentrified, but gente is like people, and in Spanish and all that. Anyway, but it's not shoved down your throat. This whole show is just very like, it's not like, oh, this is this and that is that. It's really, every character is so unique. That's what I like, right? You have like the old immigrant grandfather character who's like, what you would expect. And then you have like his and then you have like the three cousins, all of whom are very different. There's a queer character in the show, and I think they do a real good job with the queer character. It's not like stereotypical in the way that they portray any of the kind of identities that they go through. And they really talk about like embrace the whole like concept of the show is learning to love yourself. I feel like that's the main theme of the show. And as someone who really does struggle with that, it was a really good watch. I really just appreciated just the different characters, and every one of them is every one of them is likable in their own ways, but they're so real as human beings. You watch them and you're like, oh, like I understand why you did that because of X, Y, and Z, and because like and there are a lot of traits within these characters that you can absolutely relate to, and I don't know, like these characters felt like real humans to me. A lot of times when you watch TV, you're like, dude, I would never interact with a person like, Nick Miller in my life. I love Nick Miller. Okay, don't get me wrong. But like, is there really a person like Nick Miller out there? I would love to know. If there is, please show me. Like exactly like him. Like he's too odd, right? Schmidt is so much of a douche to the point where it's like you're never gonna interact with him. They're obviously amazing characters for TV, but like, would you ever interact with these people in real life? In Gentefied, you can talk to like I could see any of these characters down the street, and I'd be like, oh, like that's like, Eric, that's Chris, right? And I'd be like, oh, like, okay, yeah, like they're from the show. Like you could see these people on the street. Like they're very realistic. It's a very realistic show. It's very based in reality. It's very based in life. I think it's even more kind of in the forefront now because it's about a small business trying to stay afloat and all of these things, and with COVID and all of that. I think it was also really relatable to me because I do work at a small family business, so it was like I was like, whoa, like I'm kind of getting throwbacks to work and all that in its own little unique ways. But this is a really great piece of television. It's about again a Mexican American family in East LA just trying to make it and trying to survive, and each character is goes through their own struggles, whether it be identity, whether it be like feeling like they're not good enough, all of these things. And it's very human. It feels like a really human show, and it feels like diverse representation done right. You want to take a good look at an example, Mindy Kaling? Look at this show, Gentefied. Okay, you make a single character like either Eric, Chris, Anna, Casemiro. You make a single good character like that, I'll be happy for the rest of my life. I'll never question you again. Make a single good South Asian character like that. But no, you probably won't because, you've done the same thing 5 times and I'm sick of it. Anyway, Ha-